Hello and welcome to Afaria 312, Configuration Policies for Android Devices. At the end of this course, you'll be able to create an Android configuration policy, create a passcode policy, create a restrictions policy, create an email policy, create a Wi-Fi policy, and learn how to deploy policies. To work with configuration policies from the main menu in the Policies panel, click on Configuration. To create a new policy in the menu bar, click on New, and in the drop-down list, select Configuration and then Android. Enter a description for the policy. Here we'll use the Android Standard Configuration Policy. For Android devices, in order to get hardware and software inventory, you must enable inventory collection and set the policy to collect both hardware and software inventory. At a minimum, the policy should probably have these always set. Click on the Save button to quickly save the policy, and from there, you can go back to the policy to update it. Now that you've created a policy and saved it, you can add additional configurations to the policy. Find your policy and edit it by selecting the Edit icon. In the list box under Android, you'll find the basic Android settings. Select Security Properties. Click on the checkbox to enable a required password. In the drop-down box, there are options for numeric, alphabetic, alphanumeric, and complex passwords. Note that the complex passwords apply only to Android devices that are on version 3.0 and above. Set the minimum password length by clicking on the checkbox, and then use the spinner to increment or decrement the password length value. You can also enter the value indirectly, of course. Set the value for invalid password attempts. If a password is entered incorrectly after the number of attempts set in this field, the device will perform a hard reset. Max time till lock is a value in minutes that is the maximum amount of inactive time the device will allow prior to automatically locking itself. The values for Android devices are displayed in the drop-down box. Select a value. Password history is the number of passwords stored in the history list. Setting this value to 12 would require unique passwords for the past 12 set. Password expiration timeout in days is the number of days a password remains valid. By setting the password history to 12 and by setting the expiration timeout in days to 90, a passcode must be changed every 90 days but cannot be reused within a 3-year period, which is 90 days or 4 times per year, and at 12 times, this would be 3 years. Encrypt storage will encrypt device memory. Once you've completed your password policy entries, click on Save to save the policy. With Android devices, many devices have a very limited set of restrictions. Samsung devices, however, have a much more robust set of restrictions and can be controlled by Afaria. Select the Samsung properties from the list box and you can change various settings. These settings are unique to Samsung Advanced Enterprise Security or AES devices. When complete, save your policy. For Android devices, the NitroDesk Touchdown client is used for email. While the native email client is available, Touchdown provides more robust security and control for Android devices. Accordingly, it's the preferred email client recommended by SAP Afaria. Once again, edit your policy and select NitroDesk Properties. You'll select this for either Microsoft Exchange or Lotus email servers. An email policy works the same for both Microsoft Exchange and for Lotus Note servers. Click on Account Configuration to create your policy. Select the Enable Account Configuration checkbox. Click on the User ID checkbox and enter the substitution variable Exchange ID. The Exchange ID would typically be prompted and captured during enrollment. Click on the password checkbox and enter the substitution variable exchange password. Next, click on Domain and enter the domain host or domain name. Optionally, you can use the substitution variables and prompt the user for the domain during enrollment if multiple domains exist. Additional options are available for deploying certificates. Once complete, save your policy. You can create a Wi-Fi policy that automatically connects to the device when the device is in range. Edit your policy and then select Android properties from the list box. Select Wireless LAN. Click on Enable Wi-Fi and select the Yes Radio button. Click on SSID and enter the service set ID or name of the network. Click on Hidden if the SSID is a hidden network. Select a security type from the drop-down list. The pre-shared key can be used to enter the passphrase, and the web key can be used to enter the web key value. Click on the box and enter the value. Click on Save to save your policy. To deploy a policy, you must first link it to a group, and then deploy the policies for the group. To do that, go to the Group menu. Find your group, in this case Android VIPs, and select the group. If there are devices in the group, an icon will be available on the menu bar to deploy policies to the group. Note that if there are no devices in the group, the icon won't be displayed. Click on the icon to deploy the policies to the group. All policies linked to the group are first consolidated and then deployed to the group. On the device, let's check to see that the policies were actually deployed. Select the locations and security. A password is now being enforced. You should now be able to create an Android configuration policy, create a passcode policy, create a restrictions policy, create an email policy, create a Wi-Fi policy, and know how to deploy policies.